Plastic bars trying to copy my steel. Copy my steel. Face the fact that ain't no cap, I'm real.
And welcome back to the Early Bird Special. I am Chris Burdick, and with me, as always, is my boy Sparky. And week one, this is our first of the entire season. We're going to go probably as far as we can go, but these will be our waiver wire Wednesday videos, where we're going to help you guys try to win your fantasy football weeks. I don't know. How was your first week, Sparky? How'd you do? I don't know. I
Four
kind of
and
had
two.
you went 4-2 in your 6 leagues.
Yeah, and
Okay,
I
see,
got I got lucky in the almighty family league. I was actually getting my ass kicked going into Monday night, and
mhm.
I had the 49ers kicker that actually got me 24 points, and I was down 20. So
If
go
you had him or Boswell this week, you were very, very
go
happy.
kickers.
So, but we'll get started real quick. I know Sparky's got a couple for you. I know I got a couple for you. A couple of the obvious ones that I've started with, at least coming or going back to Thursday's opener, Isaiah Likely, tight end from Baltimore. Only 14% of NFL leagues have him rostered. All of them have him starting. Surprise, surprise. And if you have watched this Baltimore team, honestly, in the last couple of years, especially with the injuries to Mark Andrews, I am assuming that the entire chemistry between Likely and Lamar is now far and beyond better than Mark and Lamar's. So I would expect this trend to continue. He had 12 targets, almost had 2 touchdowns, almost won to tie the game as well. We mentioned that on Sunday's episode. Sparky, I don't know. How do you feel about this
Well,
pick as well?
that was that was the tight end I had. I know if he wore a size 10 instead of a size 12, he would have been a game-winning touchdown. But yeah, Isaiah Likely definitely a tight end to watch.
And I know we had a couple people text into our Instagram, and we do see all of our messages and try to, comment on as many of them as humanly possible. A couple people commented on our post saying that they were going to go for two in that instance. I'm not 100% sure if that was going to happen, but I know a lot of people believe that. And if that is the case, I guarantee you Likely was going to be one of the main choices again.
Yeah,
I,
Harbaugh had his two fingers up. He was going for two.
Absolutely. But going into the net or from one hardball to the next, my next choice for one of the obvious pickups, J.K. Dobbins, running back from the Chargers.
Get off my
Huge week
list.
for him. Man, 12% of NFL leagues have this man rostered. Less have him starting. 10 carries, 135 yards, and a touchdown. Not to mention 3 for 3 in catches as well. Only 4 yards in the air. However, if you're a PPR league, you do not care. That is three
Yeah.
extra points right on top for a grand total of almost 27 points in the first week. Jim Harbaugh has come out and said it. They are a now running team and they are now a defensive led team. Expect this to continue 100%, in my opinion.
Well, the only flag I see there is I was one of the guys that drafted a Charger running back. Sadly, it wasn't J.K. Dobbins, but I think it's going to be a lot more like his brother did in Baltimore, where he's going to run with the hot team or hot player, whether it's Gus, whether it's J.K. Dobbins, who knows? But J.K. was the better running back this week. I know he only had 10 carries, but he made the best out of those 10 carries with 135 yards and a touchdown. So if you're going to go with the Charger running back, I think J.K. Dobbins could be the guy. I know he's had battling injuries for years, the last 3 or 4 years, but he seems to be healthy and started the season well.
And 100 yards over on a team or a defense at least that has Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins on the other side, it has to say something right there. So unless that's just the way the Chargers are going to be built from here on out, we'll see how it goes. But going into my last pickup, or at least this one could be kind of a dark horse and a for sure pickup in my opinion. But Rams wide receiver Demarcus Robinson, with the news coming out today that Puka Nacua will be out for at least 4 to 6 weeks with that injury. We hate to see it. However, this means next man up. Robinson had a couple huge highlight plays against the Lions. He had 4 catches for 42 yards, but he was targeted 7 times by Matthew Stafford. And if I know anything about Matthew Stafford, is he likes his guys and he picks them. And this guy right now, Demarcus Robinson, only rostered in 0.6% of NFL fantasy leagues. So I guarantee you he is on the roster unless you have a die-hard Rams fan that has him already.
Well, I had Puka, so I am looking for a receiver in one of my leagues. Another receiver I wanted to bring up was Alec Pierce, who had a hell of a game for Indy. a lot of team owners were wondering, okay, well, what kind of Anthony Richardson are we going to get? Alec Pierce was another one of those low, very low statistical drafted player. He has
Hmm.
1% over fantasy leagues, and he finished off with 3 grabs for 125 yards and a touchdown. That could be that he was just the guy that had the perfect catch that week. He might not, he might fizzle out for the next couple of weeks. But when it comes to long passes and Richardson, Pierce seems to be the guy. So if you're looking for a flyer for a receiver, Pierce might not be a bad pickup.
And that might have been play of the year in week one, man. Launching a 67-yard bomb under pressure with a good defense in your face. That was something to behold, man. I don't have any quarterbacks this week per se to pick up because most of them are already still playing, unless you're still in a league that has somebody with Russell Wilson over Justin Fields. However, Sparky, do you have any quarterbacks that you have your eye on this
I
week?
did when I was looking up the waiver wires this pickup. A lot of leagues do not have our Bakersfield boy Derek Carr, who had a hell of a week one, had 3 passing touchdowns, and in a lot of PPR leagues got damn nearly 30 points in the first week. NFL.com says he's rostered 2% of most leagues. So I mean, if you're got somebody that maybe had Jordan Love that is out for the next 4 to 5, 6 weeks. Carr might be a good waiver to pick up for at least the next month. Or if you're somebody that saw Aaron Rodgers play last night, you're like, I don't know if that's going to be the guy I want to lead my season on. Maybe it's Carr, maybe it's not, but that's my quarterback pickup for the week.
There are a handful of moments where Rodgers looked like the old Rodgers, but I don't know, man. That San Francisco defense is something else. My only retort to your Derek Carr which I do love. I love Derek. We've said it on the show multiple times, but he did go against the Carolina Panthers, who greatly disappointed me for sure. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but they are for
Mhm.
sure just as trash as they were last year. So, and actually, piggybacking off of your Derek Carr pick actually goes into my second dark horse pick of the week. Personally, Jawan Johnson, if you're looking for a tight end from NOLA, they're going against Dallas this week, the 29th most points in tight end, or two tight ends in week one. Johnson had a solid 10.6 points in week one. And honestly, I don't know if you how much of that game you watched of Dallas and the Cowboys, or I'm sorry, Dallas and the Browns. Uh, Tom Brady's inaugural game, which we can get into that on Sunday. But they left the tight end and Njoku open quite a bit. He dropped a few of them. Johnson will not. He is a very dynamic tight end that loves to get open and loves those breakaway plays. So if you're in need of a tight end, maybe you're somebody who picked up Mark Andrews, but Lively's not there anymore. Johnson might be somebody to keep your eye on, at least for this week, to get you through.
And my dark horse is a defensive team, which you just brought up was the Cleveland Browns. I think the Cleveland Browns are all defense. Obviously, it's not going to be Watson, like we've been saying for years. Watson is not Watson anymore. I don't know
Not
what
anymore.
if he left it at that massage table or what the hell happened, but I think Cleveland's defense was the only spotlight. Yeah, they were up against Dallas, and yeah, Dallas was hot, but I think Cleveland is a bet. I dropped Cincinnati right before kickoff, thank God, and picked up Chicago Bears, which saved my ass this week in fantasy. But if you have a Cincinnati Bengals defense that just didn't show up this last weekend against New England, and you're looking for a defense, I think Cleveland could be an easy sneak if you're looking for a defense this week. The only other thing I want to bring up is when I'm looking at my roster and I'm looking at waivers this week, and there's that 1 or 2 players on your team that you're just like, it's just filling up a roster spot. Mine for this week is my garbage player of the week is DeAndre Hopkins. I'm not going to play with that guy anymore. I thought, okay, it's the last round of the draft. DeAndre Hopkins is out there, maybe Tennessee, maybe. And then I heard a day after the draft that he was battling an injury, an MCL, and that he's not going to have the surgery and he's going to play through it. Well, if that's playing through it and finishing with a point and a half from the week one, which I'm not going to put it all on him. Tennessee didn't look good, but if you're looking at a player like Isaiah Likely or a spotlight player that you need this week, I would suggest dropping DeAndre Hopkins and using that guy as the scapegoat of picking up somebody better.
You know, it's funny you say that. I'm going to have to piggyback off you one more time because my final dark horse of the week is also a defense, but it's the Jets defense. Personally, I think they're going to bounce back after a very rough week one against the 49ers, but against this game against the Tennessee Titans, who give up the 31st most points to a defense. And honestly, Will Levis gave that game away. Like you said, we don't know what the hell's going on with DeAndre. Is he hurt? Is he just not liking playing there? God only knows. So as of right now, the Jets defense, look for them to have a huge bounce back game, in my opinion, against the Tennessee Titans. And then really quickly getting into some more drops that I personally believe that need to happen, or if you just want to bench them, that is what it is. I got two quarterbacks for you this week. Joe Burrow, the Cincinnati Bengals, absolutely. And I love this man for late in the year. Hold on to him. Do not get rid of him. However, the last couple years for Joe, and I can't pull up the stat line right now for last year in Cleveland, but have been absolute garbage in the first 2 to 3 weeks. So hold off on starting him probably until about week 3, week 4. My second quarterback to not touch with a 10-foot pole and actually drop him off of your list, because my mantra for this show now is now F Kirk Cousins. He is gone, baby. He is awful. Not to mention they're going up against Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly on Monday. Do I need to explain why we do not trust Kirk Cousins on a primetime game? God only knows. So do not touch Kirk Cousins this week, no matter what. Go find somebody, even Justin Fields at this point, who didn't score a touchdown in week 1, will do you better than Kirk Cousins.
There you go. So follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all social media. Send in your questions on Instagram and join us Sunday. And I believe there's some WWE news that we're going to have to get into next weekend. So join us right here at the Early Bird Special. Peace.
Peace out.